Welcome back. The program is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. And you can be part of the conversation by sending your text message to the number displayed on your screen or send your comments on our Facebook page, slbc.sl. Well, it's now time for us to usher in our first guests in the program. As the All People's Congress APC prepares for its lower level elections leading to the National Convention, many members have declared their intentions to run for positions available. One such person is Usman Abdul Timbo, who has joined the growing list of people hoping to succeed President Julius Maada Bio when his term ends in 2028.
Now, Honourable Timbo hopes to achieve this ambitious political global goal through the tickets of his party, the main opposition All People's Congress. The lawmaker have made his intention clear in May 2025 when he declared to contest in the upcoming elections for the party's flag bearership. A lawyer by training, Honourable Osman Timbo is from an influential family of successful lawyers, his father being the late former Chief Justice of Sierra Leone and a fuller tribal head of Forfeit and Alhaji Dr. Abdullahi B. Tingo.
Born in a Moritown village in the west end of Freetown, he spent his formative years moving between Moritown, Kanike, and Berea Park. Timbo started his professional career as a national legal associate working with the Defense Office of the Special Court for Sierra Leone immediately after taking the BAM final exams.
Well, it is to you to talk to no less a person than flag bearer aspirant for the main opposition All People's Congress Party is Honourable Osman Timbo. Good morning, Honourable Timbo. Welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you. And having you for the very first time, I say happy New Year to you.
Good morning. It's my pleasure to be with you, and happy New Year to you and all viewers and to Sierra Leoneans.
To start with, in May last year, you made your intentions known to not only party stalwarts but as well loyalists and members of the opposition APC party. Why is it coming at this crucial moment when the party is worth entering to yet another decisive election in 2028? Why do you think the time is it?
I think you just said it by using the word crucial. You said that it's a crucial moment. And I definitely agree with you that it's a crucial moment. The party is transitioning. By our constitution, we're expecting elections, law level, as well as the national executive election to go in this year. And like I said, we're transitioning to new leadership. At the same time, it's crucial because this country cannot wait anymore. We've been in the same place, going one step up, two steps back for decades. Successive governments have been said to be responsible for the state of Sierra Leone at the moment. And I feel that this has been my generation. When I say my generation, as a young person, maybe the youngest in the race at the age of 14, I think it behoves us to take responsibility for ourselves. There was a time when people were saying that we prepare them until we can make the future for it. Where would the future come? Well, the future they were preparing is now. Now we're inheriting what they've left us. So they also need to accept that time. Okay, we told the kids they were preparing the future. Our kids have grown. They're at this age, the ripe age now. They're also fathers and mothers now. We need to give the hand over the baton to them to take responsibility for their generation and prepare the nation for the coming generation. So that is why I think it's crucial. The time is now. Sierra Leone cannot wait. Osman Timbo as an individual can decide, say, okay, I can sit down and wait. It doesn't have to be me. By the end of the day, Salone needs a leader who will take responsibility for this generation. You cannot tell me how to live my life now. When I am this old, I can prepare myself moving forward as a nation. So that is why I feel the time is now, and there can be no better time than now to venture into this. I'm not doing this for Osman Timbo. I'm doing this for every young person in yourself. You look at you, see how good you're doing as presenters. See the facility that you've given to the SLBC. See the facility that you've given to this program. This is the power of empowering young people. So I want to do it for you to see yourself in me, to give you the courage, to give you the belief, to give you the confidence that yes, I can come forward and take responsibility for my nation.
Now, Honourable Timbo, as a quote unquote JNC, people saw you in 2018 when you put yourself forward to contest for being a member of parliament, and you won, and then you went to parliament, and then there was some wrangling along the line, and you encountered some issues, but you went back to parliament in 2023, and of course you are still a member of parliament. I've watched you, carry yourself in the world of parliament, the way you approach debates, the way you articulate issues, and I've seen that you don't only have the charisma to really move to move young people insofar as moving your ideology as to wanting to liberate the minds of young people, but want to see, I guess, you can position yourself in a way that you can transform the nation. The question I want to bring to your notice now is how have you been interfacing, with the people as that is really making you feel that this is the right time that you want to become a flag bearer of your party? Because from the many candidates we are seeing putting himself forward, you seem to be very young.
So beyond the charisma, I think it's also about competence. Look beyond, oh, a young man, a fine man, etc., etc. Look beyond that. And like we said, the debates, the quality of the debate, the quality of even the presentation that we're doing, my engagement with social media, my engagement with the traditional media. You can tell, we say you can tell a right crowd by it looks, right? So even the way you do this, and even the ideas that I have, I'm not saying I might have all the ideas, but at the same time, I'm not saying these ideas are owned by me. I'm someone who's very consultative. I'm someone who's a listening person. So I've listened a lot to people. I've gained a lot of ideas, experiences from them. I've felt certain things myself because I've lived there all my life. So these are the things that make me feel like, okay, I have understood enough. I'm not saying I am the best person to do this job, but I'm saying I am prepared to do it. What I'm doing is giving people the opportunity to say, okay, to make a choice. Osman Timbo is right. Osman Timbo has put himself forward. Let's not forget, there are over 20 something of us in this race. How many of them are even bold enough to be facing the media as I am doing? You cannot say you want to lead a nation and you're hiding. Come and talk to the people.
Feel the time is not yet that.
Well, whatever it is, the time can never be right, the time can never be all, So this is the time. Elections are on us. And then wanting to lead the nation, you start a consultation plan. And if you're consulting with the people, you want to lead a nation, not just a political party, you have to engage them. You'd have to allow the people to see and know who you are, what you stand for. And this is what many people are not doing. So for me, what I'm doing is giving people the opportunity to know me. I know many people have heard the name, many people have seen me. My community knows who I am. They know my track record, not for 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years, or even my time in parliament. They know me way beyond that. They know me, like I said earlier, that, in another program, that I did not come to the fore because of political position like many others who were appointed ministers who went to parliament and became popular, or because of the money they became popular. I remember many, many years ago, I was here doing face-to-face with the law. Many, many years ago, I didn't have even the small amount of beds, but I was there sacrificing. So I went to all the cells, police cells. I went to prisons, advocating for people who were indigent, poor people. I remember I have many friends with the bike riders, the disabled people. Interestingly, this name Youngest was given to me by the disabled people. I was a friend of them. I remember the ex-combatants, people who were dismissed from the army. I helped them, I saved them in court and all. Even the ghetto people. These are my friends, the ordinary people, the market women. These are people who actually made me who I am. Many, many years ago, before the spotlight was pointed on me with politics. So that is why sometimes I even shy away from calling myself a politician.
Okay.
I say I'm not a politician because it is not politics that made me. It is these ordinary people.
But you need politics to deal with something.
Sorry?
You need politics to deal with.
Absolutely.
So you need to be a politician to lead the country because you have to go to a political party.
Yes, I agree. So, but like I said, in me, I did not study politics.
Okay.
And doing politics, and maybe that makes me a politician. But I don't live for politics. I can live without it. I'm not a desperate person. I'm not a person who will say it has to be me at all costs. I'm not a person who would say the others are bad, I am better.
Okay.
I will never say that. But I'm giving people the opportunity to see me, to understand me, and then make an informed decision.
So when you're making a submission, or what you have been saying is going straight to the country, not the APC specifically. So our viewers now want to know, what is your vision for Sierra Leone and the APC? Let's say you are elected to lead the APC moving to the 2028 elections.
I beg to differ a bit in terms of the dichotomy, the difference between the APC and Sierra Leone. APC is Sierra Leone.
Oh.
So we're just a subset of Sierra Leone. And we're major players because the intention of the APC, for even the formation of the APC, is to win political power and shape the vision of Sierra Leone. For me, I have things that I've put together, which I call a vision for national renewal. I've been discussing these 10 pillars of my vision for national renewal, but at the same time, I am not oblivious of the fact that the manifesto belongs to the political party, and that manifesto will be put together when I become flag bearer by the APC party. But from my consultations across, like I said, I'm someone who listens. I'm someone who asks a lot of questions. I make my own conclusions, or I draw my own conclusions from them. So I put together this 10 pillars of a vision for national renewal. And I think I'd made that available to you. I don't know if you have it. Maybe because it's long, so I don't want to talk about them. But if you want us,
You have all the time to do it.
if you want us to talk about them, then we can talk about them. What I'll do is I'll listen, and then maybe if you want choose anyone
Either
talk about, we can talk about that. So the first one is a vision to unite the APC and then the nation. Then a vision to enforce laws and order, and also fight against corruption and fight against drugs. The third one is to do a national development plan for the short, medium, and long term that is inclusively put together by all political parties, civil society organizations, all strata of society, put together. We need another one which has to do with economic revitalization. There's a lot of talk on the economy, and I have ideas on how I feel we can fix the economy. Another one, the fifth one, has to do with decentralization, effective decentralization, where development in localities have to be led by the local councils in their locality. For instance, if you want to make a road now, put local district, for example, the local district council or the city council has to take responsibility for that. They have to be given funds, they have to be given opportunity for them to be able to do that. The sixth one has to do with the sectors, diversification of the economy now. So instead of pay too much emphasis on just mines, we have to think about agriculture, we have to think about fisheries, we have to think about tourism. There's a lot of potentials in those sectors that will not destroy the environment like mines do it. That can bring a lot of positive things to the country. I think the seventh one has to do with education sector, the reform of the education sector, the reform of the curriculum, the training and capacitation.
That's why I really want us to dwell more on.
So
you say you
we'll
guys
come there.
I'll
I'll do the 10.
Okay.
Then afterwards, you tell me if you want us to talk about education or which.
Yeah, go on.
So the education, we have to reform the 63P4 system. I don't believe it.
Okay.
And we have to talk about more infrastructure for schools, training, STEM education, education that is not just literacy education, but education that is applicable, education that we can actually use for the workforce, and a lot more. The next has to do with the healthcare. We still have a lot of deficit when it comes to health. not just in infrastructure, but capacity as well as equipment. The capacity of our doctors, the capacity of our nurses, the capacity of medical practitioners generally is very weak. The number is not enough. The capacity is weak because of the need continuous training, education, and the ethics of the profession have to be dealt with. We need equipments, medical equipments. Basic medical equipments are lacking in this nation. The quality of the drugs that come into Sierra Leone have to be looked into. All of these are under the health sector, and we also need a health insurance scheme. Some places that when person sick, not only secretly, I mean in Sierra Leone, when person sick, not only sickly killer. Many times, and the worry rigor for always I got for go pay money in hospital, and the money is not there. But we have a health insurance scheme that will cushion the effect on people. So that's the health side. Now, if we have to talk about infrastructure, no country will develop without infrastructure. And also the plan to develop a new city infrastructure like roads, like energy, like water, etc. etc.
You do city outside with outside.
As a new city, for me, I have chosen Lungi as a new city. But you want us to talk about it, I'll talk about how Lungi is the ideal place to do a new city. And the 10th and most important, well, it's not most important, it is all encompassing. A government but that is led by women and youth. So for me, these are the 10 points. And if you want us to talk about anyone in left, yes, I'm waiting.
Yes, let's delve a little meeting to reforming education. To be specific, the 6-3-3 system of education that's currently in place. In fact, I believe that's a system that USF was educated in. And of course, how do we intend to reform that? Because even this current government, I mean, we reformed it from the 60-4-4 to 6-3-3-4.
Okay. So for me, like you said, who feels it knows it, right? I'm part of the 6-3-3-4 I'm a product of the 6-3-3-4 system. So I feel this system hasn't served the nation properly. The old system was one where you have up to standard 7, and then you go continuously to form 5. What we need is basic education. Basic education doesn't stop at class 6. It doesn't stop at daycare. What has happened in this nation is we have a lot of kids who have fallen out of school just because they failed NPSC. That is where even those who pass but do not pass properly start to fall out of the system. They cannot go to grade A schools, you start to send them to schools that are less. That means you've started categorizing them, you started putting them down. Okay, a person drops out of school at NPSC. When they drop out, what happens? It's either they repeat or they start peddling on the streets. They meet and trade for go sell and land all kind of bad thing. At that tender age of 6 or 10, 11, 12, when they take the exams, 9 to 12, when they take the exams. Okay, many drop out at that point. The next point is Becker. So these are like tool gates, they're like gates, the barriers that are put towards primary education, I mean towards basic education. Thousands of people or pupils drop out at Becker just because they did not get the required result to move to the next stage. And talk about worse, how many fall out at once. So for me, I feel when you say basic education should start from the age of maybe 2 to the time you finish GCO level stage. You remember there was a time when people were saying pupils who left school at standard 7 are even stronger than people who graduate from university. They say if you reach standard 7, all of us will agree that even us, the new generation, you had that. Standard 7 people, if you they already talk the ones from the old system, it shows that they're better. In fact, this is not new. In countries where the 6-3-4 system was introduced, many of them are moving away from it. So I believe in basic education, and the basic education should not stop at NPSC. It should not stop at Beke. And also, a lot of emphasis should be paid on technical and vocational education. So if you get to from 5, GCO level stage, And you cannot make it to university, which is not a must. Many countries, people don't go to university, but they can survive with the basic education that they have. You can go to technical or vocational education. There was a time when we were talking about Trade Center. You remember Trade Center? That's quite. You remember Freetown Technical Institute? And then many more, which were there. But now, how effective?
So what will you do differently?
So that is what I'm saying. We'll abolish the 6-3 form system. We'll go back to a system where basic education is education from the age of 2 to 16 or 18 years. That's between primary school from standard 1 to from 5. We'll reintroduce that. Also, we'll make education not one where people go to school just to pass exams. You know, when you go to school, what you think about is Onamika force. I've heard people calling themselves dangerously educated just because, I don't go to school, I can't force, me can't force. So the mindset of even the pupils is, I need to go and come first in class.
Sorry for your
So that is it. So it's about literacy. That's what you're taught. That's what we're taught here. You go to school, they give you notes, you
Come and pass.
notes, you come and pass.
So is that your idea about being dangerously educated?
No. But this doesn't prepare you. But this doesn't prepare you for the world out there. I can tell you an example. I remember when we were doing law, the best pupils or the best students in class with us, no one hears about him. One of the brightest lawyers in this country now, for my class, wasn't one of the best in class. He was only scraping through. But now he's the best. He's applied himself properly. So we need education that is applicable. It is not just education that is competitive in the sense, they can't force na class and this can second. You learn to, it doesn't prepare you for the present workforce. So that is how I think the curriculum should be looked at. There are many things more about the training of teachers, the building of new schools, even a number of pupils in class. How can you effectively teach a class of about 100, 120 people? There's a lot of things.
Like the aspirant, Honourable Osman Timbo, contributors in the program, Abdul Timbo, contributors in the program.
Welcome back. The program is Good Morning Serion. Hope you learned a lot from a healthy but today with us to do with looking at 10 early signs of diabetes. Well, we still have Honorable Usman Abdel Timbo, who is a flag bearer aspirant for the All People's Congress Party. Now, Honorable, before we left you, we are sticking on your 10 points plan for national renewal. So let's talk on your plan for the fight against drugs because it's part of your 10 points war on drugs. So how do you plan on doing that? Because you know the country over the years we have been challenged with the fight against drugs and you see our youth are going down the drain because of drug abuse. So how do you plan on doing it?
Right. So I think that's part of the second pillar. It's joined together with enforcement of law and order, the fight against corruption, and the fights on drugs. So why all of them are put together is because they're related. They're laws. Sierra Leone is not lacking of laws as it relates to the fight against the use of illegal substances, even its importation, its production. These are all provided for in the laws of Sierra Leone, including punitive actions, including punishments. Interesting, it's one of the laws that doesn't have an alternative, like it's a fine or imprisonment. For drugs, you have the minimum number of years to be in prison for is 5 years and go above that. So this is where the law enforcement comes into play. Human being by nature, I'd say we're lawless. And then everybody wants to make money. Some people want to do it legally, some people want to find other ways to make it because they want to survive, they want to live. So if the law enforcement mechanism, law enforcement structure is not properly put in place, at the same time it's not working effectively, then such things will happen. So we'll not reinvest the way when it comes to the fight against drugs, right? Okay. So there should be reforms within the police, for example. there should be reforms within the court system to ensure that when these type of offenses are reported, we deal with them. There should also be safeguards at the border crossings. So all these immigration points, I mean, water key, the border crossings, the airports, these are places where these dogs come into the country through. So these are where we have to put stops. At the same time, where corruption comes in. There are many times we've heard about people who they're building houses, they're living large, but no one is questioning where they're getting this money from. There's something called unexplained wealth. If we're serious about enforcement, go to these people, ask them, where are you getting your money from? Someone will tell you, oh, I'm a fisherman, I have boats. You have to look at their books to see whether the money that they're claiming that they have.
But the SCC have been doing that. They have a asset declaration and policy, and also you heard yesterday we had someone from SCC that made mention that a certain individual's house has been put to be sold to members of the
Right. So we have to do more. That's why I said the laws are there. It's about a political will to enforce. We should not be cherry picking or just saying, oh, take a tip or don't do for one person, don't do for other person. There are many, many people. In fact, I feel sometimes it's a law enforcement institution that make defenses for these people. I've had the police even pointing fingers at the judiciary. Say, oh, will catch people there? Okay, then go to courts, they go release them. So it's that's where the fundamental problem is. So we have to deal with those. At the same time, it is not just the punitive side. We also have to think about the curative side. I've always said that I call them victims of drug abuse. We should not lambast them. We should not throw them away. These are young people. These are people who the society has failed. And idle mind is the devil's workshop. Someone drops out of school. They have nothing to do. They're just idling around. The next thing they do is take something that, remember Indian hemp, cannabis? People say they take jamba, quote unquote, just to take their minds off the happenings now, to take their minds away from their problems. It's the same thing with all these drugs. Nobody wants to destroy their life. Nobody wants to do that. But they take this because they feel it's the way out of their misery. So what we do is, apart from enforcement, ensure that we prevent the production or the sale of those drugs. We also need to think about how to rehabilitate those people. Young people graduate from university. They sit there, no jobs to do. So there's a lot of work. It includes, that's why it's intertwined, even with economic development, the creation of jobs, the reform of the education sector to make it more to make education more not accessible, to make education more friendly for the workforce, that is the work environment. So you see, there's a lot of things around that. And like I was talking about, the rehabilitation centers for those people, reintegration into society, and monitoring afterwards, because many times they relapse into those things again. So we have to be careful. We have to take a lot of care of those people. So this is how I feel we can fight drugs and at the same time protect the victim.
All right. Now, Honourable Osman Timbo, of course, I can remember your days in Parliament, or your interaction in Parliament. You are fondly called Flavia Timbo, and of course, for a lot of critics of Honourable Osman Timbo, they feel like you are really biting more than you can chew. You don't really have a clear pathway in terms of what you are yearning towards. I mean, we also think that in so far as internal party rates are concerned, you speak less. And in terms of crisis of the party, you cannot be seen. A lot of accusing fingers also pointing to you for, not being part of, those yearning towards unification of the party. You've stayed back for a lot of times. You've been quiet. You've been silent over a lot of things. And so, insofar as you wanting to go through the All People's Congress Party to really get this ambitious plan that you want to become a flag of the party, do you see yourself becoming one?
I'll tell you one thing that whether it's you or people missing the point that I'm not clear on what I want. I think of being one of the most deliberate and clear young person in this nation. I've always known what I want. I've always communicated it. I have never been a person who flip-flops. I know one day can tell you I want to be this. After a while, I change I go and it had never been my style. Interestingly, even on in progress of expressing my intention to run for it, I was of course possible formally declared my intention of putting my name forward. So it shows a clear and consistent pattern.
But you were asked that question in one media engagement. You said you are going to consult. So that you couldn't even at least accept that, yes, I want to be a flag lock
No. So this is where you're missing the point here. Yeah. I told people to exercise patience. This was just after I resigned. When I resigned, I said I'm consulting and give me a month. I'll come back to you. That's clearly what I said. I'm not a madman. I'm not a person, like I said, who flip-flops. I told the country that I am resigning. I took a deliberate step. I resigned. And afterward, I said I'm consulting within and outside the APC. I did that for a month. And then I came back to the country and declared my intention to put my name forward to run for the leadership of the APC. I was the first. Other people were crisscrossing the country, but they never officially informed the public. So this shows a deliberate young man, someone who has his head on his shoulders and who knows what he's doing. I'm not possible flip-flops. Okay. Now to what happens within the party. Those who are saying, oh, Timbo's quiet, ask them what they've been doing, apart from being social media warriors. Hold the phone, talk, or go on Twitter at time. Do you know who's been putting the work at the party of it? I was a deputy national secretary, and that's what it is. Do you know how much work I was doing there? And secretary, don't forget, meaning my responsibility is to write. Apart from being secretary, I'm deputy.
With athletic stance or suggestions.
Listen, I am deputy, meaning even if I write, you will not see my name on those documents. I am not saying I was the one who was writing. I'm not saying I'm the one who was taking decision, but I'm saying I was in that role. I was part of that process. I was working in the thick side. And you should also understand, I should not just talk flippantly. No one sees me then, or no one saw me then as just a member of parliament. Everything I say, they'll say, oh, Honourable Osman Timbo, member of parliament and deputy national secretary. So whatever I say might seem like a reflection of the position of the party. So you have to be careful. People need to understand that. Equally, do they know the role that we play with the tripartite process and negotiation process? Do they know who are the people who put those documents together? Some people have to be careful the things they say. Maybe there was a change. The Osman Timbo, who was just an advocate in parliament, was an advocate as a lawyer, became an administrator.
Okay.
So you talk less and you do more.
So, Honorable, you are vying for the position of flag bearer at the APC. So, how popular are you with the delegates? Because they will be voting you to become the flag bearer aspirant for the party.
So the question of how popular I am with the delegates, I can answer that. But in terms of whether they will vote for me to become the flag bearer, it's a different question. I can clearly point at something to say these present delegates who not necessarily would be the same delegates at the National Delegates Conference because we have lower level elections, certainly. But if you're talking about the delegates now, I would tell you that 1,373 of those delegates had voted for me, yes, before, to become the Deputy National Secretary. I can point at that as the highest number, and there's nobody in this age who can point at that. So if you're talking about me being popular with the delegates, these people have voted for me before. But this doesn't necessarily mean these same people will vote for me to become flag bearer. And it will be very foolhardy of me to sit here and tell you that, oh, I have 10 votes, I have 1,000 votes. It is foolhardy for anybody to think that, oh, delegates, human beings, who are very dynamic,
today I'll be supporting you. Tomorrow I will change. Maybe the last thing is I change to somebody else. So I'll tell you what I'm doing is I'm reaching out to them. I'm continuing to consult with them. I'm preaching a message to them. All right. And at times will appeal to their consciences to vote for me at the end of it.
Okay.
Flag me aspirant, Honourable Osman Timbo. What are your parting shots? What are your plans? As much as you've highlighted your 10-goal renewal vision for Sierra Leone, how you intend to really take that to the APC? I mean, you as a candidate for flag bearership and intend to be a flag bearer and will run the party into election. How you intend to navigate?
So I'm not a flag bearer aspirant at the moment. I'm intending flag bearer aspirant. So haven't called for applications yet. Well, with you, that's the question of how I'm doing this is one of the best ways to do it. Engage in the media. And this is the third phase of my campaign strategy. There are several other phases which I will roll out. I will continue also engaging delegates as well as Sierra Leoneans. At the moment, it's a delegate election, so my focus will be on the delegates. My engagement with the public generally is this one that I'm doing now. You will not see me holding big crowd meetings because it's not necessary for now. We have to focus on the delegates, and that is what I'm doing.
If you're not possible to be called flag bearer,
I will absolutely accept whoever wins in the democratic election.
So stand up, Salon, make we voice echo. Timbo na the joy.